Go.
That's
Actually, the one with the job. Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakhakodash. Alright, the bonus of the apostles, and those that great most of rule well, and taught us this 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto you, hopefully, elect out, that not this word of thought, truth, and sincerity. Alright, Shalom, and the accurate I'm out here. About to finish up camp from last night. Due to some technical difficulties. So now I'm going to start off with I'm going to finish off where I left off in the book of Psalms, the 119th chapter. Now I was going into how out of the mouth of the wise, out of the mouth of the wise, finding the wisdom. You know, because where do we get this wisdom from? How do you become wise? You become wise from these scriptures, and this is where you get your wisdom from. Alright, because the wisdom of this world is foolishness, really. You know, so if you wanna be a wise in this world, then be my guest. You know, but we're gonna do something that's true wisdom, right? You know, which is really considered folly to the world. Our people hate what we're doing. They really think of us as nothing. But that's the same thing. That's the same way the prophets walked in. You know, in a lowly manner. And that's the same places we're gonna follow as well. So this is the book of Psalms, the 119th chapter, verse 109. Salaki, verse 104. With thy precept I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. And we do hate this place. We do hate every false way. That being these philosophies, these ideologies, these religions, these vain sciences that they teach you. Alright, now Esau be implementing in the curriculum of a kindergarten school year about you get to learn about transgenderism. Why the hell do you guys want to teach transgenderism to a bunch of kids that don't even know about sexuality yet? Alright, why the hell would you want to do that, man? Alright, that's wicked, literally wicked. So these scriptures, man, we find out the truth that you're not supposed to be transgender, you're not supposed to be, do this and then the third. Or we're supposed to go by the scriptures, because everything is filtered through the scriptures. And that's how we're going to judge as well, We're going to judge in righteousness by way of the scriptures. We're not going to judge out of our own matters, out of our own minds, man. That's not how it's going to work out. So this is the book of Slakia, verse 5. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. I have sworn and I will perform it, and that I will keep thy righteous judgments. Yeah, we're rehearsing the righteous acts to this day until we get out of this wicked ass hellhole, man. Known as America the Great, because this place is really a grievous captivity to our people. Starting off with the Israelite men and only the Israelite men. Not the women. Alright, this is a rest right here. This is a rest because it all goes back to the serpent and Eve. Alright, dwelling in pleasure together. Bringing down the Israelite man and just ruling in total wickedness, man. Verse 7, I am afflicted very much. Quicken me, O Lord, according to thy word. And these scriptures, man, we always say these scriptures are our medicine, our spiritual medicine. They're the only ones that can heal our contrite spirit, man. Not some ibuprofen. What the fuck would ibuprofen do to our spirits, man? Alright, it ain't food. Food does mess up your spirit. You eat a certain thing and then you feel depressed and such and such. But going on to the healing process, the physical pills, painkillers won't heal your spirit. Alright, if you're feeling really, really vexed, that's why you pray, you fast, and you read the scriptures. You go into Proverbs, and then you read a verse, and you get cut right there, and then you feel better because you know better now. So Slack. This is the book of Proverbs, the 8th chapter, verse 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. And we do hate evil. Whatever the Lord hates, we're gonna hate. Just like how we hate our enemies and the Lord hates our enemies as well, we're gonna hate the abominations that He hates, man. You know, being of one mind, just like Yahweh Yahushai are, and the body are of one mind. You know, if I start speaking, you know, if I start butchering the doctrine, you know, and saying Edomites could repent and be saved, then I'm not of one mind. All right, you guys have to cast me out. You know, you guys have to kick me out of the body. That's how it works. Nevertheless, going on, the fear of the Lord. And the fear of the Lord, because the word fear doesn't necessarily mean to acknowledge and be scared of a power. All right, that's part of it, but the other part is actually, you know, serving Him. And that's what we're here to do. All right, we're not going to be like these wacky-tacky Christians. Right now it's Sunday, so I just passed by a camp. So like I just passed by the wicked-ass church down the corner. And right there in that corner, you got a whole heap of, you know, slanging and banging and a bunch of crackheads about, you know. All right, last night as I was leaving camp, you know, I met some Edomite, you know, lady, you know, all out of her mind, out of her music, you know. And that's right next to the church and next to the Salvation Army, because the Salvation Army and the church are right next to each other. And so that's how you know that those churches aren't being dealt with, because if they were, then the surrounding areas would be pristine and clear. Not next to a fucking alley, you know, where you got a bunch of druggies about, you know, just sleeping, you know, all of their mind, you know, just groaning and moaning and like, you know, tweaking a little bit. All right, so you know they're not being dealt with. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy. And pride, you know, and it was Pride Month, you know, last year in June or July, I forget. And that's one thing that this world teaches you to not condemn, but to embrace and love. All right, now I'm in school, so every time I go to a class, in the doorway, you see the little poster saying LGBTQ friendly. You see that in class now. And when you try and explain your point, you got the most so-called masculine man, which is he's really effeminate because they don't got the spirit, you know. They're really wicked as fuck, man. So they're really effeminate deep down, although they look masculine. And then they try and book up and correct you and say we're supposed to love off. Man, fuck you then. All right, fuck you. Do I be a rude speech as well? You know, it doesn't matter, you know, because even Paul, Peter, all right, and the rest, they all cussed, man. They all cussed. Paul said, "I'm a rude speech," which means being straightforward, and that's what we are. You know, we're straightforward. We're not gonna, you know, try and bend it down and you know, make it soft. No. We're gonna be straightforward. You know, if it's harsh, then so be it. We don't mean it to be harsh, but because we're straightforward, we're just telling you the point. And also, being a rude speech also literally means cussing. All right, that's where they get the term bad word. You know, bad is practically synonymous to the word rude. So rude speech, bad word, same thing. You know, Paul says skybalon, which is literally Greek for shit. You know, dumb. In the book of Mark, the 14th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, verse 66, you had Peter get called out by the maids and said, "You're with Yahushai," and then that was when he was denying Yahushai, which had to happen so he won't get put to death as well as Yahushai. You know, he had to stay. He had to stay on this side to prophesy and then bring in more believers, man. All right, so it wasn't his time yet to get crucified back, you know, upside down, as he commanded, because Peter felt unworthy to die the same manner as Yahushai did, you know, being crucified upwards. So he got crucified upside down. You know, but when they are confronted by the maids, he started cussing. And you even had one of the maids bring up the point saying, your speech agreeth with it too. Because, you know, they swore, you know, they cussed. And then I could just envision Peter just like getting confronted, like what? And then he just starts cussing. Because they all cuss, man. With like verse and them. And arrogancy and the evil way and the forward mouth do I hate. Alright, so we're supposed to hate the same things the Lord hates, man. Alright, that's a part of wisdom, you know. and we're gonna keep on hating this place until the end. All right, now more so than ever, because right here things are turned to the max. So there's no sin what Esau could do right now. Ultimately we know everything is by design, but the way Esau's gonna push it out, we're still yet to find out. As the apostle stated, the other apostle Torah even stated that fact that we know what's gonna happen, but it's totally by design. We don't know how Esau's gonna push it though. Those super chips, all right, those super chips that you're gonna implement in the military and create super soldiers, where you get super speed and whatnot. Well, none of that carnal work can compare to the spiritual, man. All right, just imagine an Israelite man with a spiritual power, all right, likening the Luke Cage going toe to toe with the goddamn Edomite who got the super chip in him. All right, and he's wearing armor, against the Israelite man with no armor, who's invincible, basically, through the spirit. Who's gonna win on that side? You already know, the Israelite man. And that chip is wicked, man. Because why the hell would you want to merge? Why the hell would you want to merge man with machine? All right, that's literally ridiculous. All right, why the hell would you want to combine the organic matter with these little circuit boards? Why the hell would you want to do that? Just like how Yahweh, that when he called them, gave us orders in the Mosaic Law about not wearing garments made of many materials such as cotton and wool. Hey, same thing with the body, man. Same thing with this tabernacle, this house, this body. You're not supposed to merge it with a bunch of random other parts. And ultimately, the judgment for taking that chip is death. All right, the scriptures say. The Lord ain't gonna forgive you, man. All right, the Lord ain't gonna forgive you. All right, where is that in the Christian church, man? Talk about taking that chip. So a lot of these Christians do know about that chip. What happens then? All right, they don't want to say it because they're scared. They don't want to give out the true answer. They just want to say, I don't know, but it must be repentance, right? They literally question that, But the straightforward answer is death, immediate death. All right, because the Lord's gonna bring out His wrath, indignation upon you for taking that MOTV slacking. Hopefully this video doesn't get taken down. And that's why this place has got to go. All right, this place has got to go. I'm gonna get a quick piece about the book of Job, the 8th chapter, verse 20. Behold, Yahweh will not cast away a perfect man. Them being the elect men of the Lord. And the believers as well that aren't teachers, but they help out the men of the Lord. Neither will He help the evildoers. Alright, so He's gonna help you guys out, man. As a matter of fact, what He's gonna do is gonna help bring judgment, and that's by way of immediate fire. That fire is going to cleanse out the whole earth, right, from all its impurities. Them being these ideologies this devil brings you, So we filled thy mouth with laughing and thy lips with rejoicing. And right now, we're sighing and crying for the abominations thereof, as the scriptures say. So what does it mean by to leave filled thy mouth with laughing and thy lips with rejoicing? It's talking about the kingdom, all right? Ultimately, we want to see judgment, man. We want to see these crackers and these niggas out there get judgment, man. All right, we want to see that happen. So the scriptures even talk about, at famine thou shalt laugh and at death thou shalt laugh. While these people are out here dying, we're gonna be rejoicing, man. All right, so that's also what it means by until they put that man with laughing and rejoicing. Lord, to me, that's gonna be that kingdom, because in that kingdom we're gonna rule in righteousness. Here it is, man. The kingdom, we're gonna be rulers, joint hairs with Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, co-rulers with them, ruling over the earth, man. All right, inhabiting other planets, claiming women, all right, having many women, even claiming pets, man. All right, I can be claiming pets all the time. You find a little fly, you pity a fly. Literally, you can see a little fly right there just land on your hand, and you pity it, and you claim it. You claim its spirit, so it comes back each time. It dies and it comes back to you. All right, so Lord, well, that does happen. And slaves as well. Slaves. We're gonna have tons of that. That's true living like the other Apostle Gabar stated. All right, this ain't living. All right, trying to financially satisfy your needs in an economy in a falling economy like this, whose government doesn't favor us. Do you call that living? Fuck no, man. All right, we call that barely surviving. Not even having a glass of wine, sitting on a nice little sofa while watching the big flat screen TV in your room ain't even living. All right, nothing's living until that kingdom comes. Because while we're still out here preaching out this word, we still see a bunch of wicked things, man, that happen. All right, you got a bunch of just crackheads pass by, and they just leave a bad vibration to us, man. All right, like I said last night, you can't even walk into the store without feeling a bad vibration. Here it is, man. I go to school still, and you go into school, all the new generation, you just feel their spirits, man. All right, you just feel their spirits, touch yours, and it's vexing. All right, it's basically a demon port, an airport or marine port full of demons, where you could transmit demons to each other. Right, even the women, mostly the women, how they're showing the skin at a young age, of 15 years old, man, and they be transmitting demons, straight to you, and it's vexing. All right, basically, the school is the edu slavery center, and not only do you get fit with these philosophies, but you also have to deal with the vibration of Jake. Slack, I forgot to get out the book of Job, the 10th chapter, verse 22. I've been meaning to get that out, actually. Because the order comes from the heavens, right? Order comes from the heavens. With that being said, given the fact that the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, is a power of knowledge, and He's the one that gave us the blueprint, He's the one that gave us proper order. He wants an orderly kingdom. All right, look at the kingdom of heaven. When the kingdom gets established, we're going to be a transparent kingdom, centralized government. In other words, a communist, basically, which Esau condemns that, But we're going to be a centralized government who's going to rule in righteousness, all right, by way of the law, statutes, and commandments, which these people don't keep. All right, that's why the scriptures talk about, the wages of sin are death. So people are going to die out here, man. But that's part of the cleansing, cleansing pattern. People dying. This fire, burning America, till it becomes a desert. All right, no more government standing except for Yahweh Shai's government standing. All right, that's gonna be the ultimate the finish line for the cleansing process when Yahweh Shai establishes his kingdom. All right, because you say, I forget what book it was. I believe it was in the Revelation, the 8th chapter, 9th chapter. It goes into how no other man shall rise up. Probably paraphrasing on those lines, because none shall rise up to set themselves as king. All right, this ain't gonna be no ancient world type of thing like back with the Vikings. Like when one person died, if they were as mighty, if they had a high reputation, and if they was mighty, they had supporters, they would set themselves up as kings. All right, but that's not gonna happen very soon. People are gonna be so terrified at the fact that the fire is gonna cover up the whole earth, man. So what then? No one's gonna want to step up, No one's gonna want to stand up, and that's why Albert Einstein said that the Third World War should be fought, with all this technology, but in the Fourth World War, it should be fought with sticks and stones, which there will be no Fourth World War. All right, the last war to end all wars will be the Third World. But he made the point that it should be fought with sticks and stones, and that's the same mindset these people are gonna be in, of a weak, primitive type of mindset, not knowing what the hell's what to do. So that's what we're gonna step foot. Go over those men. We're gonna come down from the chariots. We're gonna step foot and subdue all you heathen nations. We're gonna set up a kingdom ruled in righteousness. It's gonna be properly, orderly, and beautiful, and righteous, and comforting, and pleasurable, and everlasting. The book that Job the 10th chapter, verse 22. The darkness is darkness. Is something of the shadow of death without any order, where the light is darkness. It's talking about America. That's why this place hasn't got to go, because there's no proper order here. But when this kingdom goes out and we establish our kingdom, it's gonna be in order, proper order, man. All right, like how things were intended to be. The man over the woman. All right, the woman shutting the fuck up and not speaking. You know, that's proper order. All right, Jake actually, keeping up the Leviticus 11 and actually eating clean foods and not the wicked atrocities that they eat. They're literally eating vacuum cleaners of the ecosystem, man, and they consider that a delicacy. You go to a famous chain restaurant and you got the predominantly it's a black woman out there. She be getting lobster and eating that and rejoicing, or she be making that sound. Well, that's disgusting, man, because that's not a delicacy. That's a fucking earth cleaner, man. All right, those same animals you consider a delicacy are the same ones cleaning up the earth. All right, cleaning up that's why when you're looking at a tank, you put a certain animal in there and it cleans the moss from the walls, from the glass walls, because they're cleaners. They're vacuums. But in the kingdom of heaven, when we get next, it's not going to be that way. If a heathen even dares to actually eat something abominable, he's going to be put to death. All right, so I just want to bring that point out. You actually had this woman, I forget where it was, in a TikTok, if I'm not mistaken, obviously TikTok. What she been doing is she made a living off of eating lobster, man. That's fucking disgusting. And she become a millionaire like that. Well, she already lost, man. All that money is gonna leave. It's gonna depart from her pretty soon. That's what we just talk about. Riches probably not in the day of wrath. So she's got a judgment incoming. All right, because first of all, she was bringing forth bad fruit by eating that abominable food. Also, she's a wicked Eve who profits, who profits in this kingdom. All right, getting money, getting that cheddar. But then, all right, she's gonna get destroyed as well. Psalms, the 12th chapter, verse 5. For the oppression of the poor, and who are the poor? We're the poor, man, and we're being oppressed. She was even talking about in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, verse 33. All right, I'm gonna get that actually. We're oppressed. Whether it be by this devil, these philosophies, whether it be by our people going off, man, we're oppressed. The fact that, I messed it up. We're oppressed in this captivity, right? But we're vexed as well by way of the things Jake do. I just wanted to extend on that point that we're vexed with our own people going off. We're singing and crying all the time, hoping to bring forth good fruit, which is bringing more believers into this thing. And that's what we're out here to do until Yahushua comes. Salaki, until that famine of the word hits. Salaki, until that famine of the word hits. Hey, because even after that, what's gonna happen? We're not gonna be teaching. Book of Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were pressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast, they refused to let them go. Just like Pharaoh, he didn't let us go. Alright, Moses kept on saying, let my people go. And then he said, I'll let your people go. But then the Lord would harden Pharaoh's heart, and so he retaliated from his own saying and said, I should not let your people go. And that's when the Lord had to bring in another plague and another plague. That's what you basically seeing in America. Not like back then where you got frogs coming out of the sewers or whatever, where you got the sea turning, where you got the Atlantic, and then the Salt Lake Sea turning into a little red sea. No, man, it's not gonna be that way. Now ultimately, the Lord be turning the sea red again in various parts of the country, in various parts of the world, but not in America. You don't see that. Right? You're not gonna see Edomites get boils. All right, the plagues in this case they're very different. Where basically the economy is falling down. All right, we're in a famine. and it's all by design. It's not gonna be like back in the ancient world. All right, the famine that we got right now is the one where a lack of transport brings in a lack of supplies into the four corners of America. And that's why when you walk into the Walmart or Sam's Club or whatever, a Costco, you look in the fridge and you don't see much products as it once were. And ultimately, what these people be doing is they're eating the last of their own supplies, man, their own stocks. Because we've been talking about a famine and it's gonna happen, right? It's not gonna stop. It's gonna happen. All right, it's a slow process to in our perception right now, but it's gonna be quick pretty soon. All right, what do you think this we're just talking about? Why do you think this we're just talking about people eating each other, man? All right, the father shall eat the son and the son shall eat the father, because cannibalism is gonna come back. Regardless of what you're seeing in your own supermarket, very soon it's gonna turn to hell. All right, right now, a couple of days ago, actually, it's locking out right now, but a couple of days ago, I was on the news and I read an article about how the pharmaceuticals, there's a shortage in pharmaceutical pills, man. So what then? What then? When you get sick, what's gonna happen? All right, you're not gonna be able to find some pills from your local CVS or your local pharmaceutical company, little store. You're gonna find pills, and you're gonna have to suffer through that period of time being sick. Having to recover the natural way. If you even know how to recover the natural way, because these people forgot the what plants are used for. Instead, they want to be smoking marijuana. They want to be smoking weed for the pleasure of it. When reality, the weed plant was really created for our health's sake. Our health's sake, really to be used to be healed. By nature, naturally. And actually, speaking on that subject, none of these plants have a natural scent like back in the ancient world. All right, back in the ancient world, you take a deep breath and you smell beautiful. You smell the beautiful bushes from a mile away. All right, some beautiful pine trees. They all have their own natural scent. And you don't experience that right now. All right, everything is bland and just fucking dead, man. That's when we look into these post-apocalyptic movies. They always say the same thing. I hate the smell of the city. All right, they hate the smell of the city because it smells like shit. All right, that sewage and the scent of the fucking infected zombies in the shows. But primarily, the city smells is what cancels out the natural sense of the earth. Not even walking into a forest gives you the natural scent. You have to wait for the kingdom until everything is cleansed. Until you can get to smell the trees for what they really bring out. Because the trees don't just consume carbon dioxide and bring you oxygen, they also give out a scent. And that's not gonna happen until the kingdom. Alright, because Esau be out here, just visualizing everything and that's why when you look into environmental science is based off of the natural world and man-made world, which is the asphalt covering the whole earth. All right, dynamite everywhere, and then there goes a skyscraper. Which was really prophecy, given the fact that he shall literally set his dwelling up high, as it's in the book of Obadiah, the verse, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, digressing back, Psalms 12 and 5, for the oppression of the poor, for the sight of the needy, now will I arise, saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will set him in safety. And that's talking about being preserved from the sad perils, and ultimately being delivered, beamed up in the chariots by, from that destruction. From the incoming destruction, coming to cleanse this earth. All right, because if we're stuck here, we're gonna be cleansed along with it. Cleansed into a corpse, while that spirit goes back into the spirit world. And we're not with that. Ultimately, we don't fear death at all, but we don't want to die on this side. Especially now that we got this truth All right, that we're trying to be to the right, we're constantly enduring, we're facing these tribulations, and at the latter you don't get delivered. That must suck. You know, that must really suck. You know, even now you got these false prophets getting put to death, or whether it be by their own hands or someone else. All right. One thing that's still stuck to my mind is the fact that, you know, months ago, like last year, like many months ago, you got one of the Sakari members, you know, blow their brains out. That's something that stuck with me. Like, damn, how can you even commit suicide while in this truth? The reason why he did that is because he understood that Sakari was going on. Alright, so that's even scary in itself, given the fact that he was in a false camp. So imagine being in a false camp. You know? That must truly suck. To not have the 100% truth, botching up the scriptures the wrong way, and what then? Death is your end. So I will say I'm in safety from in that perfect Adam. And who's the one puffing up at us? Esau Edom. Alright? Because when you're puffed up, you're prideful, and that's the same mindset this devil's in. Or even throughout the Psalms, which you could apply to as of right now, even David spoke about, you know, delivering me from the wicked, that do speak unrighteous words, wicked words. I was prefacing on those lines. You can read throughout the scriptures. You know, like in the book of Psalms, the 10th chapter, verse 3, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and visit the covetous Lord avoid. You know, they're always doing some wicked things, trying to capture us, you know. As a roaring lion seeking the whom he may devour. That's the mindset that's devil's in. And that's why 2 years ago, in the year of prophecy, 2020, and later that year, you had all these people talk about black and brown communities, target them first, you know, for their so-called safety. Right? Because this devil was really out for us, man. He's really out to kill us. And he be killing all these elites. Literally, be the Illuminati really be sending out hits on these guys that be exposing the truth, man. You know, but they weren't being dealt with. All right, the many public speakers that spoke against the Illuminati and got put to death. Hey, they got put to death. Why? Because they weren't being dealt with ultimately. Now, Lord, with those men, and we'd be rebuking this fucking place on America. All right, all these elites, all right, all their groups, all their councils, even though people are our nation, man. We'd be literally rebuking you guys, man. You know, but Lord, with those men, so we get preserved. You know, the spirit. The scriptures even talk about how where 2 and 3 are together, angels reside. Really provision on those lines. Are out here, man. You know, you don't see them necessarily because they're in that fourth dimension. You know, the fourth dimension. You know, you got one dimension only moving one way, second dimension moving both ways. I forgot what the third dimension was. For all I know, that the fourth dimension they could go sideways, you know, everywhere. So that's what these angels could do. You know, hence what we call it the fourth dimension. There's a book of Salak, and we finish it up. I will set him in safety from in that perfect Adam. So we're gonna be preserved, you know, from this fucking cracker, and from these said perils, and that fire. Alright, there's the book of Baruch, the 2nd chapter, verse 31, and shall know that I am the Lord. It's like verse 30, for I knew that they would not hear me, because they are stiff-necked people, which means stubborn. Or these people really, really hate being rebuked. If they get rebuked, they're not gonna do whatever was commanded of them. Or they're just gonna back out acting like a feminine bitch, you know? So But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. And we do remember ourselves, man. All right, this last captivity, Lord, what we get next? Lord, we get delivered. We get that kingdom. But for now in these times, we're going to keep on enduring. That's the whole point, man. To endure to the end and be saved. And they shall, verse 31, and shall know that I am the Lord their power. And because the word God really means power. It goes back to the Hebrew word Allah, which means power. So, for I will give them and really the word God is really a title. Alright, so that's not the Lord's true name. That's not his true name. His true name is Yahweh. And his only begotten son's name is Yahweh Shai. You know, you know, we're even likening the gods, you know, not right now in this flesh, but that's why the scriptures talk about ye shall be gods. It's like ye are gods. You know, and very soon we will be gods. Lucky for butchering that up. The scriptures talk about we are gods, right? Because we're the nation of Israel, we're princes of power. That's what it means by Yashar Allah, princes of power. Right now we're in this flesh. Alright, we're mortal. But very soon we get those spiritual bodies, we're gonna be immortal. We're gonna have little spiritual power, you know, we're gonna live forever. We're gonna be true gods very soon. So that's really a title as well. We're gonna be gods, you know, very soon. I will give them in heart, which that heart goes back to the Hebrew word love, which means mind. Alright, your mind, not your heart. And ears to hear, which really is really spiritual for understanding. You see, if you got the understanding, if you don't got the understanding, then so be it. That's why the scriptures talk about either have an ear, let him hear. See, if you got the understanding, then understand. So verse 32, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. And we always believe in the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, you know? For all the miracles, all the work He's done, for this mercy, which is this truth, all right, and the set victory before us. All right, for all the desires that shall be given to us, and we endure unto the end. And think upon my name, and we always think about the name of the Lord. You know, this truth is 24/7. All right, every single day. There's not one day that goes by that you don't go think about the powers. There's not one day that goes by that you don't think about the powers. We always think about the powers, man. Always think about the scriptures, you know. Always praying to be delivered, to be protected. It's like you got the Christian woman out here. The Christian woman in her car, she be sending up prayers in the name of Jesus Christ, which is off. We're gonna do the same thing, you know. All the time. So, in return for the stiff neck and from the wicked deeds, and we did return from our wicked deeds. You know? If we call ourselves wicked, although we have the truth and we're changing, that would be a big old slap to Yahweh Shai's face. Then there'll be no point for his sacrifice, man. And also, we shouldn't be condemning ourselves in the first place. Alright, we mess up. So what? We get back up again, right? Like true men, you know, like men, you know, masculine. So, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, our forefathers, the ones that actually follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. Alright, an example would be Jehoshaphat, our forefather. A righteous king, you know, he was a righteous king. And his name means Yahweh shall judge. You know, hence the valley of Jehoshaphat, where all these nations are going to fight with each other, you know. For what? The controversy of Zion. And that's what it says in Joel, the 3rd chapter, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was, you know, for the controversy of Zion. Because all these nations, they had a part in bringing us down. They had a part in our subjection. All right, in our beating down. Because we're likened to a beaten down dog. You know, you got the triangle with the classes, the elite, middle class, the working class, and then the low class, and then the low class. Right now, we're in the low and the low class. Some Jake, you know, they got that silver spoon, but they're not in the highest tier. Even though we're supposed to be, because that's how it was ordained. But that's why very soon we're gonna bring judgment unto these nations for all the bullshit they caused us, man. And then after that, we're gonna be in the top, man. So for they shall remember the ways of their fathers which sin before the Lord. And our fathers did sin before the Lord. You know, which ultimately wasn't all our people, man. Now, ultimately, we all sin in the flesh, but we all know that Yahweh judges not individually, but by the whole nation. You know, if a portion of people ended up going off, he's gonna judge the whole nation. That's how he works, man. So again, with these Edomites, hey, because even back then you had some Edomites that had no part in beating us down, but the whole but the rest of the nation did. So basically, the whole nation is gonna get that judgment. Even them, right? Even these Edomites out here that somewhat pity us, so-called pity us, they're gonna get that judgment regardless of whether or not they did wrong, in this form. So we got next, man. And the Lord's gonna judge you nations, man. You heathen nations. Now I'll bring them again to the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, with the true lineage. It ain't Abraham, Ishmael. It ain't Abraham, Isaac, and Esau and Jacob. No, it's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Only them. Fuck the heathen, man. Alright, fuck the rest of them. Now I'll bring them again to the land which I promised with an oath. Because the Lord keeps his promises, man. Or he hasn't forgotten a single thing. So unto their fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it. We're gonna be lords, man. Alright, but first, before we can receive the inheritance, before we can receive anything, we gotta gird up our loins, man. Alright, especially in these times, these vexing times. All you got these cars out here, whether or not they salute you, the majority of them are gonna start scoffing at you. Alright, they always scoff on the common board. Alright, you walk down the street and they might recognize you from camp, and they just start saying whole manner of evil. Alright, yeah, you had some fucking white bitch come up over here a couple weeks ago, a couple camps ago, with a fucking mean face. She was mean mugging me, man. And she must have been so-called laying up curses in her own mind. But that she literally finessed herself, because we're the only ones that could send up curses into the wickedness of these people, man. Of our people and the rest of the heathens. We're the only ones that can send up curses, man. Alright, because we know the Lord. That's a beautiful thing. That's why we're supposed to always put the name of the Heavenly Father, regardless over whether you're upset, you're low, send out those prayers, man. Praise the Heavenly Father. And with that prayer, you're gonna be uplifted. Hey, because even one prayer does it, You pray for a better mind, and what then? You feel comforted, man. That's a beautiful thing, to even be comforted, man. These people don't know what true comfort is. Or here it is, a woman is supposed to be a pillar of rest, and then the man goes into a woman, but then the woman starts fucking bitching out and starts saying a whole manner of evil to the man. Why is she supposed to be a pillar of rest? So again, there's no rest, unlike these scriptures and sending up those prayers, man. So, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. We're gonna be a big gigantic nation. Right now, we're actually a big nation. Out of all nations, we're a big nation. You got Drake's heard abroad. All right, you got Izakarites. All right, you got Izakarites over there in Japan right now. The ones that dress up as cholos and consider that to be cool. Those are really Jakes, man. You see that in the spirit by the way they walk. All right, they got that smooth motion, because we're the salt of the earth, man. All right. You got Gadites over there in Russia right now. And actually, over there near Alaska, you got the little island chain connecting Russia and Alaska together, and a portion of the Russian administration controls a portion of those little islands, the chain islands, and you got Gadites over there, man. Hey, so we're scattered abroad. And then very soon in the kingdom, we're gonna be bigger than right now. We're gonna have new spirits, man. Alright, because the Lord ain't just gonna establish it to where when all 3/3 of the nation of Israel are come back, you pop your woman and she don't give birth. It's not gonna be that way. You're gonna have more kids, man. Alright, because we're gonna be in that kingly mindset. With that being said, you're only gonna think about the legacy. Alright, about continuing your legacy. That's what a king thinks. Alright, he wants to bring forth, good sons, teach them the right way. Look at Marcus Aurelius. Look at that Jake. He had one of his sons one of his sons were pretty feminine and soft, or I was only in it for the luxuries, a spoiled little brat, and then his mother ordained it to bring, I forget his name, but he was actually an emperor as well for a time until he got killed in a gladiator fight, if I'm not mistaken. But he got taken over there to the military camp where his dad was at. Marcus Aurelius was at, coordinating these attacks on the Germanic tribes. If I'm not mistaken, I forget. Basically, after a time, he learned to man up. He learned to man up. And with that being said, instead of continuing on the luxuries of sleeping with women, drinking wine, wearing the finest clothing, he became a fucking soldier. And then he was emperor, and then he fought in these gladiator fights. He fought a leopard, if I'm not mistaken. All right, just like Alexander the Great, if I'm not mistaken. I forget. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he also had a jaguar or a leopard helmet on him. I forget. But that's how we're like in as well. We grew up in a weak, feminine way. Pleasing the flesh, and then we get with them to this truth, and we learn up the true masculine way, just to gird up loins, for the Lord demands of us. And that's in Job 38 chapter verse 3 or 4. So, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people out of the land of Israel. And I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them, like he did back in the ancient world. Alright, we're not in the land right now. You got those fucking 49ers over there, the 1949ers, that took over our land and couldn't be us, man. Alright, not only that, but they literally call themselves the 12 tribes of Judah. 12 tribes of Judah. When did our forefather Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, change his name again to Judah? Where did they say that, man? So that's how you know, if someone goes by the 12 tribes of Judah, that's a red flag, man. Because Judah is a tribe. The tribe of Judah is a tribe within the 12 tribes, man. It's a head tribe. It's a head tribe over all Israel. But our forefather his name is not Judah. His name was Jacob, who got his name changed later to Israel because he fought with an angel. And that goes to show you how strong our forefather was, and how strong Jake is really, man. We're really stronger than Esau. That's why when we look into these UFC fights, or just the normal boxing fight you see on TV, you got Jake against Esau. And what does Jake do? They knock the asses out, man. All right, if I'm not mistaken, Conor McGregor is actually an Israelite as well. Or he's really Jake as well. He's a good boxer, man. You see him do those moves, and he knocks him out. Jose Aldo, Anderson Silva, they're all Jakes as well. Because we're strong, man. And we're going to be stronger than we are right now in those spiritual bodies. Some heathen even thinks about going toe to toe against us. We're going to launch a jab. What we're going to do is we're going to let him punch us. All right, we're going to humiliate him by just like, we're not gonna react to the impact. We're not gonna go like, oh, we're not gonna move. We're gonna stand still like a goddamn statue, slack it, a freaking statue, slack it. He punches us. We're gonna be like a wall. We're gonna be like a wall. We're not gonna break. We're not gonna tumble. We're not gonna move. We're gonna stand still. So we're gonna let him take that hit. So we're gonna humiliate him to show him how weak he really is. And what then? Grab his little head like a claw machine and just. That's really the spirit, man. We're going to meditate on terror all the time, man. We're going to meditate the terror all the time. I'll actually get that out. Let me get that out, actually. This is the book of Ezekiel. It's locked in Isaiah, the 38th chapter. Verse. It's locked in. Isaiah, the 33rd chapter, verse 18. It's locked in. that's a Yapa precept. Alright, I'm gonna get out another precept after this. This is the book of Ezekiel, the 33rd, Salakia, Isaiah, the 33rd chapter, verse 18. Salakia. The book of Isaiah, the 33rd chapter, verse 18. Find harsh, shall meditate terror. And we do meditate terror, man. Alright, now more so than ever, we get really pissed off for everything now. You know, but the thing is, we gotta calm ourselves down. You know, you don't want to be like a broken sleep without defense. You want that self-control, man. You know, because part of being in this truth is the learning self-control. Alright, calm yourself. You know, instead of going up, you know, because Aki may be having some wild tendencies. We're like a wild horse, basically. You know, we're coming to this thing, we're like a wild horse. Alright, we have some wild tendencies here and there. Same thing, that's how we're like until we get perfected. We're gonna be, you know, fairly perfect, man. Right now, I can be going off, whether it be by assuming, and then we kind of feel vexed. We can't let those sins weigh us down. We have to just keep on going, man. So, flying harsh shall meditate terror. Where is the scribe? Where is the receiver? Where is he that counted the towers? Alright, so Isaiah the 34th chapter, verse 1. I saw this, and I'm gonna get out. So, come near you nations to hear. You know, ultimately this word is really directed for the Israelite nation. But these nations, given the fact that we're in America, the great melting pot, these nations can hear what they want to as well, you know? So they can know what's up as well. Come near you nations to hear, and hearken you people, let the earth hear and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. Indignation meaning a righteous hatred. And his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. He was going to deliver all these nations, man, these heathen nations, unto the slaughter. Alright, that's what we're just talking about in Isaiah 13th chapter. He mustereth the hosts to battle. Mustereth the armies to battle, Salaki. The Lord of hosts mustereth the armies to battle. Which muster means to stir up, because we're stirring up the minds of all these other kingdoms round about to go against Babylon the Great. You know, NATO doesn't want Soviet expansion to continue on again. Yeah, do they want China to take back Taiwan, but continue its independence? That's why China and Russia made those affiliations, and now you got France, like we've been saying. We've been saying France has been affiliated with Russia for a while now. Hence why the US, the UK, and Aussie, which is Australia, doesn't want to cooperate with France anymore. Alright, they're still neutral with each other. They're still a part of NATO, but they don't have confidence or trust in France really anymore because of the affiliations they've been having. And you actually had France a couple of days ago form these so-called diplomatic, you know, relations with Russia, but nothing happened after that. You know, because we're even talking about how the meat should not regard silver nor gold. So these diplomacies these Esau be making with Russia, which are also Edomites, you know, nothing's gonna happen with that. You know, nothing's gonna be made a deal. You know, there's not gonna be a deal made with Slovakia. In other words, there's gonna be no deal. The diplomacies won't bring forth a deal to not invade Ukraine and whatnot, because he's gonna talk about how they shall not regard silver nor gold. You know, so I want to bring that point out. We hope this video, this lesson was edifying. You know, Lord, we will continue to push. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, HaRachak Kodash, right, double honors to the apostles and others that great millstone who rule well and taught us this 100% truth. Much peace and blessings to you, hopefully, like out there pushing out this word of truth and sincerity. And hope this lesson was edifying. And know we continue to push, because the whole point in these times is to gird up our loins, man. Gird up our loins in these vexing times. Stay strong in the faith and endure unto the end. And actually, because of that, I'm gonna get out of the case up. You know, I guess the Spirit doesn't want me to leave yet. I'm gonna get out the book of Ephesians. The 6th chapter. Because the whole point in these vexing times, in this year of turn up, is to gird up the loins of our mind. Alright? You know, bear that righteous armor. Keep on praying, keep on staying occupied in these scriptures. Alright, looking at the news. You know, keep on saying up those prayers. And with that being said, we're gonna keep on, you know, keep on walking forward. And doing it to the end, you know? So Slovakia. Ephesians chapter 6, and I'm going to start off at verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. We got to stay strong, man. Stay girded up. Stay strong in the faith. And actually, I'm going to get out another precept, you know, pursuant to that. The book of 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, verse 10. God can be with me. This is the book of 1 Corinthians 6, the 6th chapter, verse 10. Slovakia 16, right? Count the 16th chapter, Slovakia. Slovakia. Can't find it. But it's in 1 Corinthians. I forget what chapter, but it goes into how quit you like men, be strong. You know, meaning to stay strong in the faith, man. So anyways, going back to Ephesians, the 6th chapter, verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of power that you may be able to stand against the walls of the devil. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. All right, the left side of everything right now. Whether that be the demons plaguing us, all right, people around us, Esau, Edom. We gotta stay strong, enduring. We gotta stay strong, enduring, wrestling against that. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the word of spirit, the sword of spirit, which is the word of Yahweh, man. All right, so we have to stay girded up, man. With that being said, this video was edifying, and we give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, who the world so intimately calls God and Jesus Christ. All right, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahasham Harach HaKodash. All right, the bonus to the apostles and others, a great Muslim who will, and taught us this 100% truth. Much peace and blessings meant to you, hopefully, like that, pushing out this word of thought, truth, and sincerity, and Shalom.